every 10 or 15 years, a film is produced that is so overwhelming, so forceful in its impact, that it becomes deeply embedded in the mind.
Persons under 18 will not be admitted.
This is Kenny Lee Lewis from the Steve Miller Band.
Hey, what's up? This is Jeremy Palco from The Walking Dead, and this is Still Toking With.
Hey everybody, this is Anson Williams, and I'm going to be on Still Toking With on Dorkening Podcast Network. Be there.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another killer episode of Still Toking With. Yeah, we weren't here last week. Sorry. I was buried under 2 feet of snow, literally. But I'm super, super excited about tonight's show. We've had the pleasure over 7 seasons to have some of the most legendary people on. And this amazing woman fits into that category. She is legendary. I'm going to leave it right there because I can't steal anybody's thunder. So I'm going to kind of switch things up because I was asked to this week. I'm going to bring in the voice that you hear in my head every week, Mr. Jeff Holman.
I'm a voice head. No, no, I'm not a voice head. Yeah, I wanted to change it up this week because of, personal reasons, friendship reasons, and what I consider proper etiquette. See, I do have proper etiquette sometimes. Not always. You got to be careful. Yeah. Oh, there's a voice in my head. I see how this is going to work. Yeah. No, I'm really excited. Yeah, like Ben said, it was actually like 2.5 feet of snow, I think, that we got here. 4 days to undig from that. I made tunnels in my backyard so I could hide with my dog. Yeah, let's just get this thing moving forward. Mr. Jeffrey Mark, Mr. Bling himself. How are you, sir?
Feeling green and feeling happy because I get the pleasure to bring on someone I love and admire to our show. What can one say about someone who is a legend? Brilliant singer, brilliant actress, dancer, producer, writer, author, golly, a wonderful mother, wonderful wife, wonderful daughter, wonderful sister, and I will tell you, wonderful friend. In fact, I am going to tell you a very quick story before we bring her on, which will thoroughly embarrass her. When my Joel died 7 years ago, the very first public thing I did was when our wonderful friend Carol Cook got her star on the Palm Springs Walk of Fame. And there was a party afterwards for her. And I was there and Lucie was there. And she came over and asked how I was doing. And I was a hot mess. I was just not doing well. And she looked me in the eye and she said, Jeff, it's your book. You can either spend the rest of your life mourning him or the rest of your life celebrating him. And that turned the corner for me to get back into life. So my friend, my mentor, and sometimes my angel, please welcome Lucie Arnaz.
Wow. What an intro. Thank you, Jeffrey. Stunning. Thank you very much.
Well, that's why I had him do it, because I wouldn't have been so eloquent.
I was going to ask him if he needed some tissue to wipe his nose off.
I thought for a second that was Carol Cook who said that to you, but you're telling me it was me?
It was you, yes.
Having a good day. That's good. That's a good thing, I said.
Real quick before we jump into things, I know my wife and my granddaughter are upstairs watching because I can hear her yelling. So, hi, Lala. Okay.
Lala. Hi, Lala.
So we can get into things. So who wants to jump in? Because I have a ton of questions. So,
Well, you're talking. Get started.
okay. Well, as we know, you've done everything under the sun, and you've worked with a couple of my favorites in the past, being Burt Reynolds as a producer
Mm-hmm.
and John Ritter.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
How was that? Like,
How, you mean just what was it like working with the two of them, with each of them?
yes, yeah,
Well, I didn't get a chance to work with Bert really much. He produced a play I did in Florida with his good friend Jimmy Best. It was Goodbye Charlie, and we had a
Yep.
great time, and he was the producer of the show, and I was dating him at the time, so it was more like he was just doing us a favor, finding us a theater, but he promised us a really cool theater in Atlanta near him where he was filming, and that didn't pan out. So then he said, I'm going to find something for you close by, and that didn't work out. So then he said, I have a theater in Port Salerno, Florida, near my ranch, and I'll be down there at some point. So this is good. Oh, and so we arrived there, and sure enough, it said Burt Reynolds produces Goodbye Charlie, starring Jimmy Best and Lucie Arnaz, the Port Salerno Dinner Theater Bait and Tackle Shop. That was the name of the theater. That's where we played. That's
I played worse.
favorite memory of being with Mr. Reynolds. And John Ritter, first of all, we later on, we shared a street on Tiger Tail in Brentwood together, and our kids played together. But back in 85, I know it was 85 because I had just had a baby and I had to bring her, Kate. I brought her with me, and we did a new play, which a friend of his wrote, I think, and a friend of his directed. And both of those were bad ideas, to be in a play your friend wrote and your friend wants to direct. It was called A Place to Stay, and it was a 2-character play. And I was beyond thrilled because I was in a 2-character play with John Ritter, and we had an absolute blast. It was one of the worst plays I've ever done in my life, and he knew it. And I remember we used to we played there for like a goodly part of the summer, and on our days off we would go back to our house in Katona, and John would come up, and Larry would try to rewrite the play to save it. My husband, Larry Luckenbill, was like, maybe if we change it to John, do you think oh yeah, they won't notice if we, so we mucked around with it, but that didn't help either. And it died a horrible death, but I had a great time working with him because he's an absolute joy, was a genius, and sorely missed.
Yes.
Both
of them were sorely missed, as a matter
Both of them. Yes. Well, that's why I brought it up, because they were growing up. They were two of my favorites.
Yeah, me too.
In the
Actually,
business.
John and I met before that. I just remembered when I was in Seesaw, the National Company of Seesaw, and we were at the Kennedy Center. He was also at the Kennedy Center in Desire Under the Elms with Eva Marie Saint, and we were in the bigger space with the musical. And we used to meet up after the show and sit up all night long talking. It wasn't like boyfriend, girlfriend. It was just like your parents were in the business too, because we had that in common.
Right.
And he was so smart, just so funny and so smart. And so we went back a long time, and I adored that man. Anyway.
Excellent.
And you also work with a dear friend of mine, Michael Callan.
Mikey. Yeah. We did Bye Bye Birdie together at the Melody Top Theater, Milwaukee, for Marty Wiviet. And it was a last-minute replacement. I was supposed to work with Tommy Toon in that show. He was the one that was supposed to play Albert. And I gave up the movie Grease to do that play with Tommy because I wanted so badly to work with Tommy. And I had signed a contract and I couldn't get out of it. And so I had to do this play. It was going to cost me like $5,000. And I was young. And that was like $100,000. That was like, you got to be kidding me. I can't afford to do it. So I had to do the play. And then Tommy dropped out to do Mac and Mabel for John Kenley, which actually was my idea, but I didn't think he was going to do it at the same time that I was doing Bye Bye Birdie. And so he dropped out, and they replaced him with Mickey Callan, who was a sketch and a half. What can I say? He's a piece of work, but we got along great. He was very funny as Albert. He was actually pretty well cast.
He adored working with you.
He did?
He did. He had such nice things. Other than he got along with you really well, talking about you professionally, that just working with you, like when you're on a stage with someone with that much talent, how much fun it was for him.
That's nice. That is so sweet to hear. Thank you. I love hearing that. I haven't spoken. I didn't speak to him for a long time after that.
Well, he's gone now, so unfortunately, none of us can speak to him. But on a happy note, happy birthday, Tommy, because he just had one.
Yes, he did. 86? Is he 86 yesterday? Crazy, or 87?
That's amazing.
87 maybe. Oh my God.
Wow.
He called me. We had a good birthday chat and he's fine. And he even actually went out to the theater yesterday. He went, on his birthday, he went to see The Outsiders in New York. He went to a matinee, which was a big deal for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
Wow.
So do you prefer to be on stage as opposed to in front of the cameras?
You know, Jeff, it's funny. When you're in front of the cameras, you try to forget you're in front of the cameras, right? Because that would be too intimidating to think, oh, this cameraman, he's just staring at my nose. You know, these people are right up in my face. They're seeing my blackheads. They're so close with this thing. I can't. It's terrifying, actually. But I don't distinguish. I like being characters. I like making believe. I do like an audience. I do like performing with an audience. I love the give and take and hearing reactions. And I also love the tight wire act of doing theater or concerts. It's terrifying, you know, but the curtain goes up and it's you. And you either sink or swim. That's kind of thrilling. And it only happens that one time and only the people there get to see it. So that's weird and strange, and other people say, oh, I wish I'd seen that. And you can't say, well, here is a film. You know, you can't. It's a different animal entirely. And film is there forever. So if you do have a success or something you're proud of, you can find it again later and show someone. They're just different animals. As far as the characters, I mean, even when I'm singing or somewhere small like the Purple Room in Palm Springs, those are characters, those lyrics, those songs. Every one of those songs is a person saying something about something they want or need or can't have. And so it's, to me, that's the same exercise as creating a character and putting it into a play on the stage or making a movie. If I had to choose, if you said you could never do, if you got to choose one, you can't do the other one ever again, I'd probably stick with live audiences, theater in some way.
You know, I've seen you on Broadway, on tour, in huge concert halls and little nightclubs. I've seen you work a lot.
Yeah.
You have, it's going to sound like I'm kissing up, but I mean this from the heart. There are just a very few people I've seen on stage where the minute they walk on, you can't look at anybody else. Ethel Merman, Mary
That's
Martin.
why I work alone.
Touche.
You don't work alone because you have a brilliant blonde working with you everywhere.
I usually have a big, tall piano player behind me at some point, but I appreciate what you're saying. You know, that's all you can hope for, right? That you either have stage presence or you don't. And you know, when you see somebody on stage that they put you at ease, it's like, oh, they know what they're doing. I don't have to worry about them. I don't have to worry that they're not going to be able to do this. At least that's how I feel sometimes when I see performers and I go scared for them, you know, like, oof, they're not in their shoes yet. And other people come out and they own the stage. They grab it and they go. Right or wrong, they make choices, then they do it. And that's thrilling, really. That's what you aim for in a good night, you know.
I had a hard time playing a tree.
I'd have to be the only tree in the forest. The best tree.
How did you figure that part of it out? Not that you have to be the best tree. That live, being in front of an audience was for you. I know it has been written over and over that Vivian Vance said to you, hey, you're a stage person. That may be an apocryphal story, but how did Lucie actually come to understand that's the love?
I don't know. As you asked me the question now, I'm still weighing what's my loves, what do I love? I don't like to X out something. I don't like to say, oh no, I don't like doing that, because then you're not going to get offered that anymore and you don't get good at it, right? I would love to do more film. It's fun and it's a great challenge. And it's, as I said, it's there forever, blah, blah, blah. But the process is not as much fun to me. I'm a rehearsal addict. Give me as much rehearsal as possible. I hone it, I change it, I take it home at night and I think about it and I should have, tomorrow. And then I get in and I tweak and I fix, and I make better, hopefully. And the terrible thing about one camera TV shows or films, that you do most of your work by yourself at home with your script. And then you get to the studio and there's a director and he's got some concept, but depending on whether it's a rehearsal type of a thing where you actually run it with the actors, or it's a show up, run it once or twice, we're going to film this. Like when I did the Black Dahlia, like there was no rehearsal whatsoever. And you just fly by the seat of your pants. It can be thrilling. It can come out wonderful sometimes because you just have to be natural. You can't manufacture. You don't have time. But then you go home and you think, oh my God, because you have to live in that skin a little bit before you find out all the colors that could possibly be there. And you don't really live in the skin until you're talking out loud to somebody else. So you can do all that preparation you want. But once you open your mouth and you're that person, things change. And that's why I like the rehearsal process, because I can work that out. My husband's the same way. We both are theater, animals for that reason alone.
And yet you were haunting in the Black Dahlia. It's just this brilliant piece of film work.
Well, that's to the credit of the wonderful actors that I was surrounded with, and that I didn't have too much time to worry about it. And he made good casting choices. I think I was rightly cast in that part. And I had a great director, Joe Pevney, who gave me the tiniest direction before each scene because we had no rehearsal time. And I just chose to do what he said. And lucky for me, he was always right. I just, okay, you want me to, okay. And I'll just follow that and I'll do that to the best of my ability. And that's how we did the entire movie. And it came out pretty good. Were you there at the plaza when we did the redo of it the other night?
I couldn't. I've been having some stomach issues. I couldn't come.
They got a copy of it. It's the best type of copy they could get after all this time. It was really hard finding a decent copy big enough to show on a big screen. But William Mann, wonderful author who wrote several best-selling books already, decided to take on this story of the Black Dahlia again and try and talk about this horrible murder. And his book just came out. And so he wanted to have a screening of the film that I did and have me there, show the film, and then do a talk back afterwards. And it was fascinating, really, what people asked in the audience and stuff. And just to watch it again, it was actually a pretty damn good film, I got to say, for the amount of no rehearsal we had. And but that's a tribute to the producers and Joe Pevney, our director.
You also played a brilliant Shiksa in The Jazz Singer.
Oh, you stole my thunder. Because I was going to bring that up and say, we're speaking about film. I have a little picture here that I'd like to share.
Well, please
with
do.
Everybody. And
I love that.
This is with Neil Diamond in The Jazz Singer.
Yeah.
Another great film. So back to Jeffrey's question. Sorry, because you stole my thunder.
No, it's okay. It's all right.
There wasn't a question. It was a statement.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I brought
let
up
it
a
slide.
topic. You guys talk. Go ahead.
Nope. I quit.
Yeah, I got another question for you. Is there a play or musical that you would really, really like to bring back from the past that hasn't been done in a long time?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think in terms of that usually. And also, I don't know enough about all the musicals that were ever written. I wish I did. I wish I was a better musical historian. I usually learn about them as I get offered to do one of them. But I've done some of the best ones, like the ones I grew up loving. Annie, Get Your Gun.
I saw you do that at Jones Beach.
I think that's one of the best musicals ever written. Just a terrific story and a true story, too.
And at Jones Beach, they had things floating in and I mean, that was amazing.
Entire summer singing that score in Ethel Merman's Keys, outdoors at the mercy of the elements for the whole summer. Wild. I performed outdoors before. I'd done, the Muni. No, I hadn't done the Muni yet. That was with Larry. but I'd summer stock, and sometimes you'd be outdoors to do something in one of their theaters, but not like this, not for a whole summer. I mean, it would rain. There were times when they'd say, "Oh, we're going to get a little rain tonight, but we don't think it's going to be much." And what happens? Well, because we're right out there on the stage and all these big costumes and feathers on your hair and all this stuff. And they said, well, if it's really torrentially pouring, we'll cancel. We'll stop the show and we'll wait and we'll check weather and maybe we'll start it up again. Sometimes we have to just stop, right? And send everybody home. Oh, no. That's like coitus interruptus. You haven't even gotten to the end of the show yet. And you're sending people like, how does it end? We don't know. So there were times when I tell this in my show, you've seen the show, Jeffrey, but where it wouldn't be torrentially raining. It would be just raining like constantly. And everything's getting slippery and all the feathers in your hair they're like clinging to your face now, and everybody's going crazy and they won't call the show because God forbid they give back 8,000 tickets, like, no, you have to get through intermission. If you got to intermission, then they'd say, okay, we don't have to finish the show, but otherwise they had to give the money back. So they didn't want to stop the show. But, that's a great role. I loved that role. I would do that role again in a second. A little old to play Annie Oakley, but, it was fun. And I got to do Seesaw, which was my first national tour. And I think that of its time, it's going to be dated if you do it now. That's the problem with a lot of these musicals. You do them and they don't translate in 2026, 27, like Gittle's whole thing in Seesaw was that she wasn't good enough to go uptown and date Jerry Ryan in front of his friends. Like that is so 70s, that there's a song in it that's he's good for me, but am I good for him? Good enough for him. And I've gotten to the point in my life where I just don't sing victim-y type songs anymore. And so that would be really hard for me to play that part, even if I was her age. But, and I've always thought I wanted to do Mame. And then my mother ended up doing the movie. So that didn't change my mind because she did the movie. But that's one reason I'm not doing it. But also, the more I watched it, the less I realized it's not that great of a book. It's got some great music, but the story's a little old-fashioned and a little hard. And it's really basically Hello, Dolly. I mean, they're like, it's the same, they have the same number in them where she impresses everybody and they dance with high kicks,
Now, I could see you doing the play Anti-Mame, which has a much stronger story.
Yeah.
To make room for all those songs, they had to take away about a third of the storyline. And you miss it.
A little sappy.
I agree with you. Have you ever thought about Gypsy?
Well, Gypsy is the best musical ever written, and someday I would like to do Gypsy. I never say that because it sounds like what everybody else says, and I truly don't think about it. I don't think, oh, I hope I get to do Gypsy, but I never think about it. And for a long, long time, I thought I'm too young. I don't want to play Gypsy until they believe that I know what that woman would know at that point in her life. Now I'm definitely at that point in my life, and no one's asking. But that's probably one of the best musicals ever written.
So Gypsy, here's a wonderful segue, folks. So Gypsy is about the greatest stage mother of all time. Now, you have 3 very talented children, each in different areas.
Yeah.
For those of you out there who don't know, she has a son, Simon, who is my favorite contemporary artist. I've never seen anyone do what he can do. You look at his painting, you walk away, you come back, it's the same painting, but you see 17 different things this time.
He's very unique. Thank you for saying that. I think so too. I think he's a wonderful artist.
Son Joe, wonderful guy, a great musician. I would love to sing with Joe playing for me.
Yeah.
Just wonderful. And Kate is going to be a force on her own. I think she's going to be in charge of Desilu 2 in the near future.
Yeah.
And
she's also a terrific singer. She did her own nightclub act at Don't Tell Mamas in New York. Got spectacular reviews. She wrote the show, directed the show. She had a little trio behind her, and it was called For Love or Lack Thereof. And it was sort of a 20-something-year-old's, replay of her love life over the last 10 years. And it was hilarious and funny. And she sang great stuff. She got fantastic reviews. But the best part of the reviews were that they only talked about Kate Luckenbill. They never said who her parents were, who her grandparents were. That's the best you can hope for. They just saw her and they thought she was great. So, and she's starting to sing again. She's going to be doing some singing at the, where Oscars is opening this new little bar behind it, like a lounge. Yeah,
I've sung at Oscars, but I didn't know about this.
They're going to open a little lounge, and she wants to play there. She said, I don't want to do a club act or anything yet. I'm not ready to do that, but I could sing, and so she's got these marvelous tracks. For Christmas, I gave her a very cool, full-on karaoke machine with 2 microphones. It was like not from Disney, it was like a real one.
Right.
And it changed her life. And so she's been able to put some songs together in tracks. And they asked her, because she's friendly with those guys, well, would you like to maybe play here? So she's going to do that for a few nights and then take on weeks, certain night of the week and whatnot. And
I'll be there.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait. I said, that sounds like so much fun. And then I'm going to ask her to do a number or 2 with me when I play the Plaza Theater next time. And Joe and I are going to do some songs together, and he plays the guitar. So yeah, they all developed a bit of a passion for music and entertaining in one way or another.
Yeah, I must apologize. I've been having some stomach issues. I've missed, I don't know how many of your shows in the last couple of months. I just couldn't get there.
It's okay, sweetie. It's all right.
I want to be there for you. So do you think of yourself at all as a stage mother to these wonderful
No. Oh, God, no. No. This business is way too hard. I would not encourage anyone to go into this. And I didn't. I told my kids if they started to drift this way, and of course they do, because they're both of their parents and their grandparents, 2 of their grandparents, were in this business. They're in the circus business, so they got to watch them do the high trapeze act. It is what it is. And I thought, well, I'm looking at myself, right? My mother was not a stage mother. She did not push me into this business at all. She encouraged my passions and putting on little plays in the backyard. And I picked my high school because it had the best drama department, was my passion. When she got ready to change up her television show and change the format, she said, I want to have kids, and maybe my kids could play my kids. Let me ask them. And I turned her down. I said, no, I don't know. I don't want, no, like that's the worst idea. I'm going to be your daughter on your show. Like, I know what people will say. I want to go to school and get good at what I'm doing. I want to go to Northwestern or something and study theater. And she said, well, I think you'd learn a lot here too, though. She wanted to help me learn what I had the passion for, not push me into show business. She said, okay, I understand. And then she came back and she said, what if, we try it for a year. And if you don't like it, or let's say you're not good, I'll know. And the reviews will tell us, we'll have them write you out. We'll have them very, surreptitiously say, Kim Carter went away to college this season, And I said, well, okay. And I was very trepidatious about it. I didn't want to be in that position to have them say, your mom got you the job, because that's the frickin' truth. Of course it got me the job. She created the job and got me the job, So, but I'm glad I did it. I learned a lot. I learned so much from working 6 years on that show, and it led into theater, and theater led to, off Broadway, and the rest is history. It was the best choice I could have made at the time, but I made it very cautiously, but anyway, I would not be that with my kids. No, because the business is much harder now, even than when I was growing up in it. Much harder to make a living. As they say, you can make a killing, but it's hard to make a living. And a lot of people make a killing, and then they go and buy a house in the hills and 16 cars, and all of a sudden their series is canceled and they're up Schitt's Creek,
Yeah.
I never wanted to encourage kids to get into such a, seesaw of a business. If they love it and they're good at what they do and they want to take a shot at it, then I will support them 100%. But I would have done that if they wanted to go into sculpting too, it's not just they happen to pick some stuff. And truthfully, none of them are really in the business full time. My daughter, Kate, is a recruiter and works, with Insomniac, and she's worked with Amazon and Microsoft. And she got out of the business because she said, I need to pay my rent. I can't just be, going to auditions all day long. She's a very reasonable and responsible person. So business to her is her fun. The show business aspect is hobbies. And Joe is marvelous of a guitar player. He is, and songwriter. He did that for years and couldn't, pay for lunch. So now he put himself back through school, and he got a master's degree at Berklee School of Music in Boston. And now he has a master's degree in audio engineering and audiovisual. And he moved here with his kids. So they all live here near us. Simon, Joe, and Kate all live in Palm Springs. The farthest one away is 20 minutes. And he works for the casinos and the plaza, and he's having the time of his life. He still gets to play guitar once in a while, and especially if I force him to play something in my show. But he's got a real job, And Simon's not really in show business, of course, at all. He's a starving artist, always will be, and is happy to be so.
But deservedly not to be starving, because he's just. I don't say things I don't mean just to kiss up to people. He is an incredible talent.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate that. Yeah, I agree with you.
Unfortunately, in today's world, talent alone isn't enough.
Well, it never was.
No, it's all marketing. Really, he doesn't want to play the game either. As soon as he started marketing those wonderful paintings, the way you do that is you get press. And the way press works is they want to talk about who his grandmother was.
Right.
And his grandfather was. And he was like, yeah, no, I don't want to talk about that. You want to talk to me about art? I'll talk to you. But they were like, yeah, okay, so sorry, bye-bye. And so he's not a good marketer in that respect, but I'm kind of proud of him for it too, He does what he does. If he sells things, he sells things. And he does other things in the meantime to earn money when he can. And I'm in awe of him. I truly am. He's quite an amazing man.
He's his own guy.
We should consider getting him on the show to show some of his artwork. We've had other artists on before.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd do it. He's like a hermit, He doesn't like to promote himself at all.
It doesn't hurt to ask, but I mean, we've had other artists on the show before, and what they've done is they've sent me pictures of their artwork. We bring it up. We discuss the artwork. We discuss the process of how they got there. What's that guy's name, Jeff? I'm drawing a blank. You bought one of his paintings. His wife just passed away. No, not Roger Cabler. No, Daniel.
Oh, Daniel Macluso.
Thank you. So we've had Roger Cabler, Daniel, Jeremy Palco, who's an actor. He's also an artist. We've had him on with his artwork. So yeah, we don't segregate.
I'll certainly let him know that you said that. That's very sweet.
Yeah, if he would like to, just have him reach out to Mr. Mark, and we'll set something up. And we would love to promote it. Absolutely.
So at the almost halfway mark here, I want to mention that the Arnaz Luckenbill family have been busy publishing book after book after book for the last several months.
It's true.
So Larry Luckenbill wrote a memoir that I think is maybe the most honest. I told this to Larry. Memoir I've ever read. It's like, golly, he just laid himself bare there in a way that surprised me. I've known him for 30 years. Then Lucie did love letters, these wonderful mementos of writings between her parents. There's
the book cover there, folks.
I have an autographed copy of that, and then I just got in the mail this guy,
the republishing of Dad's autobiography. Yeah,
and I love it.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Yeah, that hadn't been out for 28, 30 years almost.
Yeah.
It was published 50 years ago, and 1976, and it was a bestseller, New York Times bestseller, and all that. And then it was done, and then they released it in paperback. Warner Books did it in paperback, and then they stopped publishing it. They stopped printing them, so you could go on eBay and get one for $500 or something. But you couldn't get this book anymore. And it was Kate. It was my daughter, Kate, who said, how come people can't get Grandpa's book? This is crazy. This is like it's the whole talk about Latins and immigrants and yada, yada. And his story is fantastic and all about the studio. I said, I know. I don't know what to do. And the people who promoted it, who published it originally, didn't have anything to do. I think they're not even there anymore. So when we did the love letters book, I talked to Cindy Cipala, who's the editor who put that together with me. The same day she agreed to do the love letters book, I said, and my daughter would like to ask you something. And Kate was there, and she asked her, and she said, oh my God, because Cindy's Latin too. And she said, it would be my great honor to republish that book. It was the easiest thing I ever did was get that book republished with Toking Press. They just said yes. And she said something which I went, oh, there's a catch, right? There's always a catch. Because she said, could there be, we're not going to not publish it if you can't do this, but is there any possibility that there are other materials, expanded materials you could put in? I was like, well, I think he's stopped writing, but I'll check. But there were files and files of things that I had put away and procrastinated reading for years, scribblings and papers here. And I thought, oh, I don't have the energy to try to decipher all of this stuff. But because she asked, I made it my business to block out hours and hours and weeks that turned into months and go through all of those boxes and files. And I found some really interesting things. So not only is there an amazing story, the story that was always there, we put a lot of new pictures in, we updated a lot of the photography and the cover and some of the back stuff, but we also have this whole afterword, we're calling it, where I explain about these writings that I found. And then he spits me, dad, the whole way. Like I say, here's what it is.
I love that. I love it.
Yeah. And I won't give it away, but the thing at the very end is kind of amazing that it's the last piece I found. And what it says is just like, okay, perfect.
Yeah, you need to buy the book to find that out.
So that's where I was going to go with the segue on that. All our viewers and listeners, if you're interested in any of these books that we've been talking about, just check the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. The information is there, including Miss Arnaz's website. So you could go there. You can go to these other links. The books are there.
Best place to really, when people ask me, where do I go to buy the book? I don't say Amazon for a variety of reasons these days. But I say, why don't you go and buy it from the Lucie Desi Museum in Jamestown, New York? You can go online and order from there the same as you would from any bookstore, Barnes & Noble or Amazon. And the money goes to the Lucie Desi Museum, and they carry all of these books. And they'll ship them to you the next day the same as anybody else. So I always encourage them to do that. Or you can get them from Barnes & Noble. You can get them direct from the publisher. Running Press did the Love Letters book beautifully. And also a book. And then my father, hello, Freudian slip, Larry's book, he's older than me, but he's not as old as my father. His book was published by Sunbury Press. But you can order it at Barnes & Noble online too. And you're right, Jeffrey. It's one of the best. I say it's like the great American novel. Believe me, it's not a short book. You gotta take it to the beach. It's a book. And I had to help him edit it 5 times because you edit it, then they make the changes, then they send the whole damn thing back to you again, and you got to read it all over again to make sure they made all the edits that you took. Like I thought, if I have to read this book one more time. But every time I read it, I said, Larry, I can't believe how good this is and how well you write. And it's not what I would call, like Hemingway used to try to cut all the beautiful writing, and people would say, what's wrong with this paragraph? There's too much beautiful writing, like descriptive, too many adjectives, just tell me what happened. He knows how to do that. So it doesn't matter how long the story is or how many pages, you just can't put it down. You have to and he knows how to end a chapter and make you, oh my God, you can't wait to get to the next chapter,
Yeah.
I literally read the entire book in one day because
You did not. That's not possible.
Yeah, I read very quickly. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Wow. Well, it's called.
I will give another compliment and let you know that when my Lucie book came out, Miss Arnaz read every word of that before it was published to make sure it was right. What a favor. What a wonderful favor to me.
I remember I did do well. How would I know if it was all right? I did my best, but you know more about my mother and her career than anybody else in the world, Jeff. You're the one we're supposed to send our books to, not the other way around, you know.
Your brother says he does not have to remember his life. He just has to call me.
That's
and
exactly
I'll
right.
know.
That's exactly right.
In fact, I have put one book aside because of all your publishing. My last book, other than my memoir, which is just finished, is going to be the complete Lucie, a superstar career in show business, and it's everything from the first one with all the radio shows and all the films.
Wow!
And Fran Drescher has written a foreword for it.
Oh my God!
And again, I will not publish it until you approve. So you have approval of the entire thing, and it'll come your way. But I've held back a year, so not to be in competition.
Oh, I'm impressed. Why did you decide to do that? Did you just think that needs to be out there and nobody's ever done the whole comprehensive thing?
Yeah. I loved the book that I wrote.
Yeah.
I'm grateful that the Lucie fans call it the Bible.
It is.
I mean, people tell me they sleep with it under their pillow. It just boggles my mind.
That is a little odd. And
you know how fans are. They're lovely people, but it could get odd once in a while.
I put it between the mattress because it sags.
Oh, okay, that's better.
Both of these men have copies of the book.
Yes, absolutely.
But I felt that the radio work is completely ignored, and it is voluminous.
Yeah.
And there's like 75 films out there.
Mm-hmm.
I dislike it.
Good on you.
I dislike it when people call your mother the queen of the bees, or but she never did any important films, or her films weren't successes. She was a huge movie star with great films.
Legend.
And I want to correct that misnomer about her work.
Yeah, well, when you have something that blows up as big as I Love Lucy did, it's hard to put anything else in that shadow. It's like nothing compares. But when you look back at especially films like Stage Door or The Big Street, yes. And if people have never seen those movies, my God, I mean, there's some serious acting there. She never really came up to that level again with drama for sure. And
or Lured, the horror picture she did, or The Dark Corner, the film noir that she did, or the Western that she did, or they're wonderful.
Yeah, well, good on you. I hope it's a big success. I can't wait to read it, and I will.
And you're in my memoir, but only lovely, wonderful things, because that's who you are.
Like a love fest.
Why not? It's about time. Known each other for 30 years. Give me a little room to love on you a little bit in public.
That's nice.
But
so I'm being told that I must purchase all those books by my wife for her next road trip, she said. So, Lucie, would you plug again where you like people purchasing those?
Well, Larry's book, Effective Memories, How Chance and Theater Saved My Life, is available, I'm sure, at where you can get all books online, Barnes & Noble, Amazon if you must. And the love letters, Lucie and Desi, the love letters, this compilation of their love letters from the early part of their marriage through like the early 50s, is available. I send people to the Lucie Desi Museum in Jamestown, New York, and there's luciedesi.com, I believe it is, online. And they have a wonderful gift shop there, and they sell all things Lucie. And so they keep all the DVDs, like the Lucie Desi home movie that we did. And so they'll have the love letters book, and they also are carrying my father's, the republication of A Book by Desi Arnaz with the new expanded version. But Barnes & Noble, the Lucie Desi Center, and as I said, local bookstores too will order it for you. And I always like to tell people to go to local bookstores because they still exist, and the only people that can keep them from not existing are y'all out there who go to a local bookstore. And if you go there and you go, oh, they don't have it. Of course not, because they're small. But you go to the desk and you say, would you order Effective Memories by Lawrence Luckenbill for me? Yeah, just a second. They go right straight through to Ingram or whoever, the publisher, the big, marketing house, that the distribution place, I think, is Ingram. Yes. And they order it. And 2 days later you have it. So, it's good to support those those places, especially right now where you know who owns those joints and where the money's going and all that stuff. It's good to know.
Right,
And those of you who live in New England, I heartily recommend the Lucie Desi Museum and the Comedy Center. I was once brought there as a special guest along with Cousin Cleo and
Yep.
Keith Thibodeau and Mickey Rooney. And we screened my documentary, Inside Television's Greatest I Love Lucy. And it was a wonderful time. It's a wonderful place. I was honored to be a part of it, and you should go see it.
And really, I plugged the National Comedy Center, which is now just across the street in the old train station, and it's been expanded. It was just voted the #1 museum attraction in the entire country. And it's unbelievable what they did. So it's an entire hands-on interactive study of laughter and comedy from the dawn of time till now. And it's spectacular what they did. And, you know, it was all started with a germ of an idea years ago when I said, you guys are running out of people to interview who were on the show. You know, you've now resorted to like interviewing the kids who were babies, who played the babies. And their memories are scarce.
Yes.
They don't have a lot of memories back then. And what are you going to do, you know, after that? And well, you're trying to, I said, if you do what my mother asked originally when they said, can we honor you here in your hometown? She said, no, don't honor me, for God's sakes. You know, the way she would talk. She'd say, well, you could honor comedy. That's what you should be honoring. And they didn't pay much attention. And the first year they tried, they did one festival of comedy, Lucille Ball Festival of Comedy. I was there. Katie was 3 years old. We all went. It was a big, big deal. It was like the year after my mother passed away. And that was it. They never did it again. And then they turned into getting a little museum. And then the museum got a little bit bigger. And then they got a board of directors. And the museum moved over here. And with museum, and a festival once a year where they, you know, stomped grapes and smeared chocolate on each other. And it was fun, but it wasn't about anything other than fandom for I Love Lucy, which is great and fun. But what is that really? So when they needed money, we started talking to them and they said, well, why are you honoring I Love Lucy, first of all? Well, because it's, you know, it's funny. And I said, okay. And why does that matter? What's good about funny? Oh, well, without humor, I see. So it's really about the humor, because in reality, you could be honoring Friends and the Dick Van Dyke Show and the I Love Lucy show and anything that really makes you laugh, right? And Ted Lasso, you could bring it up to you could honor funny. And that got them thinking. And I said, and not only that, but it was also more about love and forgiveness and, you know, unconditional love. Like at the end of those shows, no matter how screwed up everything was and how much trouble she got in, somebody forgave her at the end and loved her. I said the show could have been called I Love Lucy Anyway. Yeah. And
that's so true. That's so true.
So maybe you want to honor the healing power of love and laughter, because that's really why I think that show has lasted 75 years. I think, yeah, sure, it's funny, but why does that matter to us? And how many thousands of letters and people telling me, when, you know, tapping me on the shoulder in the street and saying, I have to tell you, my mother was dying of cancer. And if we didn't have those shows to, you know, I mean, there's always some personal story of how that kind of comedy got them through stuff. And so the NCC, the National Comedy Center, does a whole presentation on why we laugh and why we need to laugh and what comedy is and who creates it. And it's everything from cartoons to political comedy to stand-up comedy. They have holograms of, you know, like Richard Pryor, and it's crazy. It's wonderful. Anyway, I'm very proud of them because they took this ball, no pun intended, and ran with it and made something more fantastic than you could ever imagine could be done.
Well, you have inspired me, young lady.
It's in Jamestown, New York, my mother's birthplace, which is about an hour and a half south, I guess, of Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's Chautauqua Lake, you know, gorgeous Chautauqua Lake and the Chautauqua Institute right there. It's an absolutely beautiful part of the world that kind of did a big deep dive down after all the furniture manufacturing companies left. It became a very depressed community. And they needed something, which is why when my mom died, they were like, please, can we honor her? Can we put up something? And sure, but it took all these years to get it to be really the appropriate thing. And it is now. So it's great.
Little known fact, all those wonderful old Goodson Todman game shows, all the chairs those panelists sat in came from Jamestown.
Yeah, I'm sure. They made a lot of furniture for almost the whole country. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I was starting to say you've inspired me. I have boxes of comedy files given to me by Pat McCormick and Bob Schiller.
Oh my God.
Including sketches for Flip Wilson and the Carol Burnett show that weren't used. And I think I need to donate them to the museum.
Yes. Oh my God, Jeffrey. Yes, please.
Because my stepkids and grandchildren couldn't care less.
Absolutely. And they'll do something really, what's the word? Like today, contemporary. They'll do it like the best, coolest way that you would do it right this minute. Like the coolest scientist or computer guy will say, ooh, I know what we can do with these, and it'll bring and then it won't just be like old pieces of paper. They'll find a way to make it interactive and let people really play with it, which will be great.
Yeah, Bob Schiller and Bob Weisskopf were two of the original I Love Lucy writers, for those of you who don't know this.
Right.
And on the Flip Wilson show, they wrote all of the Geraldine sketches for Flip. And I have them.
Amazing.
Including the one with your mother.
Good on. Oh, that's great. What a great idea. Good for you. Yeah.
Well, you inspired me. If you look on YouTube and bring up any family name of your family, the nonsense that comes up boggles my mind. The 30 years of Lucille Ball's double life, the 30 years of William Frawley's double life, your brother's death. Your brother has died 417 times on YouTube.
He looks good though for being dead.
I know.
Talking yesterday, I said, "Are you still dead?"
He's the handsomest corpse I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So, folks, Desi is alive and well.
Alive and well. Thank you. Adorable and funnier than ever.
Here's something I'll bet you don't know. There was a point right before Amy got ill. Amy was Desi's wife, where Desi and I were planning to fly to Santiago de Cuba and really do research about what's in the files of the Arnaz family there. And then Amy got ill.
Well, what files? You think there's files?
We don't know. We thought we'd look.
Where are you going to look?
Libraries, and we were talking about it anyway.
It's a communist country. I doubt seriously they kept very good files on my grandfather's administration, especially after kicking him out of the country and creating a revolution. So they all had to flee. They burned everything that was about my father's family. So I doubt there's much there. We've tried several times to go back to Cuba, and the first time, I guess they shut down the island. There was first one was 9/11 because we were doing the 50th anniversary special, and we wanted to go to Jamestown and also his hometown, and we couldn't go because 9/11 happened. So then we planned it again. My cousins were going to go with me, who left there during the Pedro Pan era, and they knew still where the houses were and everything. And we were going to go by cruise ship, and they were going to land, dock at Santiago for 2 nights. I was thrilled to death. And then I guess it was President Trump it was during the first administration, and he closed all the borders to Cuba. And so all that was canceled. The ships couldn't go down there anymore. So that was my second trip done. And then they opened it up again, and I've been trying, but now right at this very minute, it's also, you can't go there.
Right.
So I don't know if I'll ever get to Cuba. It's okay. I don't know.
The week that 50th anniversary special was being done was a very hairy week for everyone involved. I was working on it from home, and Desi would call me every night when he got home and tell me about it. But you got threats at Television City.
I don't remember that. Did we?
Yeah, that they were going to blow you guys up.
What? I was too busy working. I don't remember that at all. I don't remember. I just remember having to fly to Los Angeles to tape all the musical numbers and the interviews with the people. And suddenly there's 9/11. Nobody's flying at all. But, that doesn't stop television. It's like, yeah, it's too bad. We're filming out here in California. So they put me on a train. And I had a binder this thick of transcripts from the interviews that we still had to edit. But it was great because I was by myself, one of those little roomettes cross country with my binder and my editing pen. And I would go and sit in the dining car for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. And they always put you with 3 other people. If you're by yourself, you have to sit with others. And that always is a little uncomfortable, because it's going to go around the table and what's your name and what do you do? And I'm like, oh God, here we go. But that didn't happen that week. Everybody was, where were you? It was all about 9/11. And I wrote a journal during that trip about different people I met and what their stories were. Someday I should put that out as a little book, very small, little short book about all of that, because everybody had a story. Everybody had been somewhere. A lot of people were the only surviving members of their company, and they were being sent to Chicago to start again because someone had an office in Chicago that still existed. Horrible. Anyway, I thought I would tell you that story to cheer you all up.
All right. I will change of a tone. The only time in all the time I've known you, you've yelled at me once.
I did.
You did. Only once.
Smile. She smiled when she said that.
When did I yell at you? I love it. I yelled at you. When did I yell at you?
We've already mentioned someone earlier in the broadcast. Someone dear to Lucie and dear to me, Carol Cook.
Carol Cook, yes.
Who was a protege of Miss Balls and a fine star in her own right.
Yes, indeed.
And there was a wonderful memorial for her held at a theater in North Hollywood.
Yes.
And I was sitting just behind Lucie in the audience. And wonderful Michael Feinstein was brought to the piano to play and sing to entertain us and remember her. Now, I'm not an idiot. I know that when you go to the theater, you turn your cell phone off. Now she knows where I'm going. Well, in the jostling of all the people there, somehow in my bag, the phone got turned on again. And Michael got maybe 2 measures into his song and ring, because I have an old-fashioned ringer on my phone. And Lucie snapped her head around, will you turn that fucking thing off? And
because it was like, well, you expect it to happen. Okay, just shut your phone off. And then it kept ringing. And then it kept ringing. And I was like, God damn it, who is it? And then I realized it was him.
And
I was screaming at a stranger. I didn't know it was you, Jeffrey, but turn your damn phone off when you go to the theater.
She apologized to me afterwards and gave me a hug and a kiss. And then I went over to Michael and apologized. He thought it was hysterical. And Michael and I are friends.
He's a nice guy.
He did not get angry at all.
No. Well, I did it for him.
Just it was so funny. It was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just like that.
Wow.
So we are getting close to time. I mean, we could sit here and chat all night with Miss Arnaz.
No one would hear it. We would be off the air.
Oh no, they would stay. That's the thing.
Oh, they would. Okay.
Oh, yes, they would. Yes.
We've gone long before, but we don't want to take advantage.
Right.
Okay.
You have a busy
There are
schedule.
other questions you had on that list that you're just burning to ask me. Now's your chance.
So, and that's where I was going, Mr. Holman. Do you have?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
I do. I have a couple of questions. If you could take any movie and turn it into a stage play, what movie would you pick?
It's an odd question, Jeffrey.
That's my job.
Take any movie and turn it into a stage. I'm so practical in my mind. In order to answer that question, I go, why would I be doing that? Like, whoa, what's the purpose? I would have to know why I wanted to turn it into a stage play, I guess. Okay, I'm just going to go with my first thought. The Best Years of Our Lives. Do you know that movie?
Excellent choice.
Okay. Yeah, no, good choice. Good choice.
In the vein of Our Town, kind of like you would get the same, I think, effect from it on the way out of the theater that you might get from watching Our Town. There's something to be learned from those people that matters, that really, really matters to life. And it's a beautiful story, and it's heartfelt, it's sad, it's sort of funny, it's old-fashioned, but it would make a really beautiful play. I think plays should inspire people. Plays should change your life. You should leave a theater thinking a little differently, even if they're just silly fun like The Producers. There's something wonderful in being taken away with just complete silliness comedy, especially if they make fun of something that wasn't so funny once. But also they can change the way you think about many, many, many things. Theater is remarkable that way. That's why I went into the arts, because you can experience other people's hardships and learn about your own. And so I guess I would pick something like that.
Well, the reason I asked that question is I fell across something last week that I didn't even know existed, where they took a record album and turned that into a musical. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it was Meatloaf's Bat Out of Hell, one of my all-time favorite albums, of course. Mm-hmm. But to turn that into a stage play or musical was phenomenal.
Absolutely, a musical has to have a story, has to have a beginning, middle, and end of some sort so people can care about the characters and stay with it. That's what good.
I learned more about the music from the album because of the stage play, mm-hmm. which was really, really cool.
Yeah, I can see how that would work.
That's what prompted that question anyway. Yeah. My second question is dogs or cats?
Dogs or cats for what? For lunch?
What do you like? Well, for lunch. Yeah, okay, for lunch if you want to go that way.
Dogs or cats? That's an unfair question. I have had every kind of animal that you could mention.
Say both.
Both for different reasons. Cats are hilarious, and dogs are just unconditional love till the day you die. Cats are like, are you here again? Right, and dogs are just, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. And you always need someone to do that, something that greets you when you come in the door that says, oh God, you're the best, I love you so much, I love you so much. That's a dog to me. And we've had 20 of them, and I don't have any.
I've always had both, so that's why I asked that.
Yeah,
question.
We've had both for all my life. And right now, Larry and I have no pets because I don't want him to trip over one of them.
Well, then don't get a ferret.
And we're not going to get any pets right now. I could get a canary, maybe. I don't know. It's possible.
So, okay.
It ends on dogs and cats. I could see this whole thing. Dog or cat.
Right. So my granddaughter's yelling for me. So Lila Rose, come on. You can come down and say hi to Nano. Mr. Jeffrey Mark, last question for Miss Arnaz.
Oh, good heavens. I'm trying to think of what I could possibly have not asked you in 30 years that I'd never, ever asked.
The answers would be different today, don't you think? It's been a long time. People's ideas change, and a lot of the people listening haven't heard the answer. So,
all righty.
Interesting.
I watched your dear father, whose birthday was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And every year on Facebook, I send him a note in Spanish, hoping that at least he'll understand it's very personal from me to him. I watched him hosting with your brother Saturday Night Live, and I thought he was brilliant on it. When we talked about that like 30 years ago, you didn't have very warm feelings about that appearance. Have you changed your mind in all the years?
Steve? No, I haven't. No, I saw a clip of it again the other day, hoping that I would feel quite different, and I did not. What I saw is what happened a lot to my dad. My mother got accolades and bowing and awards, and till the day she died, Kennedy Center honors, everything. And my father got a lot of people going, Lucie, they made fun of his accent. They made fun of him. It wasn't until after he died that they started to say, well, he actually had a lot to do with that show. They didn't give him a lot of respect. And I felt that show was written the same way. They tried to promote the book because his book had just come out, I guess. But the way they did Babalu, but and also I was younger then, and I don't think I quite understood. We could mute her. Attaboy. And I love children. Children or dogs and cats? Let's see. But I was just trying to say, I don't think I understood Saturday Night Live well enough back then to get the joke. I took it personally, and I felt like my father didn't know they were sending him up. I don't think he was in on the joke. I think he thought it was a celebration of him, and I think it was less than that. So that's why I didn't appreciate it.
It's interesting to me because Desi, your brother, felt completely differently about it.
I know. He was in it. He sort of had to buy into it because he was in the show, right? And he was, he was young and having a great time. And I don't know. I don't know why it affected me the way it did, but it did. And you're right. I still feel the same way, oddly enough. I do.
I always felt when they married the I Love Lucy premise to the Untouchables, and your father says, "How's little Nitty?" I just thought that was just,
I don't even remember that part, but that was probably one of the better parts. Yeah,
it was. Well, I celebrate him and I celebrate you. I would not have half the career today if you had not shown me friendship and support, because the Lucy book would never have happened without you. So thank you.
I don't believe that for 1 second. There wasn't anything out there like it. You created a genre that now everybody has jumped on the bandwagon to try to do, but nobody did it as well. I mean, really, until maybe Tom Gilbert and Steve Sanders wrote the Rosie Lou book. That was pretty comprehensive and accurate, which is what you always look for. Is it accurate? Is it kind? It doesn't have to be always pro this. You can be honest, but it like Todd Purdue's book. Did you read that? The Desi Arnaz, the man who invented television, the one that
I haven't read it yet.
Oh, no. Drop everything and get that book right now.
Okay.
It is a fantastic companion piece. I purposely did not release my father's autobiography until 6 months after Todd's book came out because I wanted people to read it. It's that good. We opened up all of our archives to him. We have nothing to do with that book. We don't get a dime of it. But when he said, he's a wonderful journalist and, New York Times writer and Vanity Fair, and he wanted to do a deep dive on my dad and do a really great, like what you're trying to do on my mom, but just his whole life. And he did. And I just said, please just go do it. Be the journalist that you are and tell the truth. Tell the balanced and honest truth of his life. Tell everybody what happened and see if you can find out why. And he was able to do that in many ways. So if you read my dad's book and you get a certain thing that's fantastic from that, and then you read his book or simultaneously read them, you really get the full picture. And we're talking about doing a multi-part mini-series coming up with my dear friend, producer Robert Greenblatt.
Oh, wonderful.
Ran NBC and HBO and Warner Brothers and everything. And he's offered to put together a maybe 10 episodes, maybe 30, we don't know yet, and really tell both of their stories from cradle to grave in there as much as entirety as we can possibly do. Because as good as being the Ricardos, Sorkin film was, or take it or leave it, what you thought of it, it was still just an itty bitty little snippet of their lives. And he was hired originally to tell the relationship of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, and it was meant to be a multi-series thing. That's what we got in. That's what they asked us to do. Right. And we said yes. And then it ended up being a 2-hour feature movie about this little part of their life. So Robert kept saying, that story still needs to be told. And so I thought, oh my God, here we go. Here we go again. But he's right. So
I agree.
We're going to be doing that. So I'm sure you'll be getting a call.
Well, I'll work on that for nothing, just to be a part of it.
I'm glad this is on tape because he might need to know that.
Okay. And I mean it. So there.
That'll make 2 of us. I think I won't be getting much either.
I asked you this question 30 years ago. I asked it of Desi, and I'll ask you again.
Okay.
How would you like your parents' legacy? Not them as persons, because only the family knows them as persons, but as performers, how would you like their legacy to be remembered?
It is being remembered. the way I would like them to be remembered. It is being remembered by all of the audiences that have come up to me, as I said earlier, by saying thank you for the joy, thank you for the laughter, because it healed us at a time when we really needed it. And to this day, people will say, I don't want to, spill the beans here, spoiler alert, but the world is freaking nuts right now. And we need all the laughter and the love that we can stuff into our little brains. So they're being remembered for the joy that they brought to the planet, period. And that is more valuable than gold. It's everything. Because really, this sounds like a John Lennon song, wannabe, but love is all there is. And love and laughter is better than all there is. So.
Yeah.
Well, on
said.
behalf of all those fans, on behalf of a little boy from Brooklyn who had a really tough childhood with abusive parents, who knew that at least for 30 minutes every day, he could climb into the Lucie world where it was safe.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's exactly.
I thank you for the little boy in me and all those boys and girls out there, because that's how important it is.
I hope it's never going off the air. I hope that it continues to live out there. We don't know what's going to happen to it now, because I don't own I Love Lucie. If I did, I would make sure it had a home for audiences forever and ever and ever. It's owned by CBS/Paramount/ Viacom/Global/ Larry Ellison now. And we don't know what the hell they're doing. So they don't seem to care a whole lot about those older shows and classics and stuff. So I don't know. I'm a little concerned that people won't see it soon.
Well, for the moment, I Love Lucie
is it,
Yeah, for the moment, I Love Lucie can be found on Pluto 24 hours a day on the I Love Lucie channel.
There's an I Love Lucie channel, not on Pluto.
No, it's a chat. Pluto has its own little channels, and there is a 24-hour a day I Love Lucie channel.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And on Amazon Prime, you can watch every episode of Here's Lucy.
That's true. No, I know that.
Yeah.
And
in fact, the only one
we do own Here's Lucy, so I am in control of getting that out there. And Catchy Comedy has started a whole Lucy trilogy. It's like the Lucy show, the Here's Lucy show, the I Love Lucy show, and all the specials that she did, and it's on a loop, and they just show them all the time on Sundays. I did all the wraparounds for that, and that's really cool that they did that. That's almost like having your own Lucy channel. Yeah.
I don't think those shows are going to go anywhere.
No, I don't either. No.
I'm not. That'd be great. So yeah.
What's next for you, honey? What's the next thing coming up for you?
I'm still doing my concerts, and just closed that show at the Sing Happy show at the Plaza Theater, the brand new restored Plaza Theater here in Palm Springs, which was a great night, big hit, sold out, fabulous. I'm doing next weekend. Is it next weekend? Yeah, the 13th and 14th. I'll be back at the Purple Room in Palm Springs again with my smaller show with just Ron. And I'm putting together a New Year's Eve show for the Plaza that'll be a completely different show. And McCallum wants the show we did at the Plaza, but for next season, the middle of next season. And the rest of the time, I'm pretty much staying close to home. I have a lot of work I want to do here, organizing my own damn papers. And I like to stay close. My kids are here, as I said, so I'm not eager to run all around the country doing stuff. I like being near Larry. We're in some prime years right now, and he's a spry 91 and doing great, but 91 is 91. And so we're going on a cruise for, to Hawaii, 10 days on the sea, and doing things like that. We're making time to do those kinds of things right now. And I'm really looking forward.
Yeah.
Your shows at the Purple Room are already sold out. I can't even.
No, that's why I didn't have anything to plug. I said those shows are sold out. Yeah, and but I appreciate it. Just you can always go to luciearnaz.com and find out if she's doing anything.
That's right. That's right. You absolutely can, folks, and that's in the show notes up above or down below, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. So, with that, Lucie, where do you like to interact with your fans on social medias? Or websites, things like that. This is a plug.
I have a website, luciearnaz.com, LUCIEARNAZ.com, and there's a space on there called Contact Lucie. Believe it or not, we read all of them. And Elizabeth sends me all the emails as soon as she picks them up. Elizabeth is my right arm, who's been with us for over 30 years. And I answer them. I answer the people directly. And you can leave messages to me. I also scroll and read most of the things on Lucie Arnaz official Facebook and Instagram. And I don't spend an awful lot of time online. There seems to be too many places to go to pick up messages, and I start to get overwhelmed after a while. And people say, you didn't read my messages. I said, where were your messages? They go, the Instagram messages, the Facebook direct, mail. I said, I can't. I can only scroll and read, and I can do email and I can do text. And after that, I got to cook dinner. There is a life. Hello.
Right.
There's people here. Can't be online.
So there you have it, folks. Mr. Jeffrey Mark.
Yes, sir.
Same
Jeffrey
question.
Mark, as it's spelled there on Facebook, Jeffrey Mark Showbiz on Instagram. And if you haven't got enough of me yet, Ben and I do another show called GPE, Jeffrey Mark Plays Ella. Every week we are on playing the music of Ella Fitzgerald on a theme. And I'm there to give you all kinds of insider stories about the music and Ella and the songs. And I would love to have Lucie come on and be a special guest programmer and choose her favorite Ella songs someday when she has time. And we're about to start a Broadway Jeffrey Mark Live on Broadway podcast. Even Ben does not know this. In about 10 days, I am going into the recording studio to record the theme song. So in about 3 weeks, I think we'll be starting that show. So there'll be plenty of me to go around. Jeff Holman.
Yes. Yes. I purposely just put Jeff up there so nobody knows my last name.
Uh-oh. Now they do.
Well, no, he spilled the beans a long time ago, and that's cool. That's all right. Go to stilltoking.com, find out everything you need to know about us. This show, what we've got coming up. We just recently dropped the new issue of the comic book series, so you want to check that out. What else? Facebook, just go to tokingwiththedead.com. Send us a message. We might read it, might not.
So basically what he's telling you folks is stilltoking.com. You can find out everything you want to know about us.
Read it.
From these shows to the books, to the comic books, to all the stuff that we do. Our road tour is there as well. You totally got me all.
It's my job, man.
Yes, squirrel.
And Lucie is sitting there going, who are these people?
I love this. This is my kind of humor. I just love it. I think you must have so much fun doing this podcast.
We do.
Yeah.
We have so much fun doing this that it's brought us into 7 seasons.
Yeah, wow.
And we've had the pleasure of interviewing some of the most iconic people in the world.
Oh, that's great.
Including yourself.
Well, it's a delight. It's always fun to check in and see what other people are thinking about stuff, and not,
Right.
This was a delight. I enjoyed talking to all of you.
Well, thank you, dear.
We want to.
I'll be seeing you soon, and I think I need to buy you lunch for doing this, so we'll arrange that.
Okay. All righty. I'd love that. That'd be great.
Are you done, Mr. Mark?
Yeah, I are done. Yes.
Are you done, Mr.
are.
I'm just teasing. So we want to thank Lucie for taking time out of her busy schedule to chat and entertain you folks. Make sure you check out the museum in New York. That's where we want you to buy the book, because the proceeds go to the museum, and that's important. Keeping that memory alive is important. To all our veterans and first responders, we want to thank you for doing what you do so people like us can come up here and do what we do. Stay safe. We'll see you next week. We're out of here. Bye.
Bye.
Have a happy.